Okay. Professor Swaran Singh, just on this point of New Delhi making this very clear statement that, look, it's been brought to their attention and they seem to be aware of the fact that this particular Australian news outlet, their website has been blocked. If it is true, and I mean, we have a formal statement from the External Affairs Ministry suggesting that that is the case, how would you read that in terms of an action by Canada?
Obviously, Vishnu, if there is a formal statement from Ministry of External Affairs, they obviously have authenticated the facts
Yeah.
before they spoke. So I don't think we have reason to question that this has not happened. But I fully endorse the largely tone that was heard from Terry of CVC. India doesn't have to do much anymore. In fact, most and more Canadians are speaking extremely in strong language, including his ministers, including parliamentarians, people in media, and now, of course, the close allies like Australia are also witnessing the same thing happening among their own people. And of course, foreign ministers, when they spoke, clearly underlined that Australia is in understanding of India's concerns about what is happening in India-Canada relations. To me, Vishnu, I often now say it's not a India-Canada problem, it's a Justin Trudeau-India problem. And to some extent, it's also the same story that happened during his father's time when Pierre Trudeau was the prime minister. This sympathy towards a certain Khalistani movement, which perhaps they overestimate in terms of what that kind of pandering could bring in terms of sustaining his political future. Because, like in any society, it's a very minuscule number of people who are involved, and many of them are not seriously committed but are there because of various compulsions of theirs. As you know, I have lived in Canada. Like many Indians, we have friends and family there. Uh, it's a very limited number, but the way Justin Trudeau has been sympathizing, standing with them, and allowing the unacceptable levels of so-called freedom is defies any explanation. Indeed, Canada should look at their own future in terms of allowing such vociferous tendencies to grow within their own country. They have their own problems in Quebec, problems in New Brunswick. There are often people who talk about secession from Canada. So, future of Justin Trudeau obviously is, I think, clearly blocked now. I don't think he's got any future anymore in politics. His Liberal Party will have to bear the costs. I think Canada is bearing the costs overall. But let me underline, it's a very limited, minuscule number of people who are making the mischief. And even those people, the way your videos are showing on your screen, are using their flag. Any moment, flag is a symbol. If you're using flag to hit people and flag hits the ground, it falls on the ground, you understand what kind of these people are and how serious they are in whatever movement they are trying to achieve. And also, there is no such movement in India. So, where it is that they want to create this so-called Khalistan, maybe Trudeau is very great sympathizer, and he should allow that to happen in Canada rather than India. Nobody in India was asking for Khalistan here. So, in that sense, I fail to understand why a strategy which is blowing up in his face again and again.
Right.
28th of October,
Okay.
his own people were asking him to
Professor, just
resign.
hold on for a moment. I just want to keep the strike rotating. Ambassador Sinha also with us. The other across to Professor Swaran Singh. Professor Singh, the other aspect of this, which has been raised by our foreign minister and which has been raised by India earlier on, is surveillance of our diplomats. Now, Canada has told Indian consulate officials that they are under video and audio surveillance. Is this not illegal?
It is. In fact, the whole world respects diplomatic immunity. And you would remember that initially Canada had even asked India to, waive that diplomatic immunity and make some of the diplomats available for investigation, which of course India refused because India has not received any evidence whatsoever to justify any such action. And then they have resorted to something called person of interest, which again is a very fraudulent term, which is not a legal term. It comes out of anti-Vietnam protests in United States in 1960s. And it simply means that people who can't be arrested but can be consulted could be asked to cooperate in any investigation. But it's not an accepted legal term in that sense. But problem is that the Vishnu media trials could begin. Once you have insinuation made and India keeps silent on it, and we allow that to happen, that Indian diplomats are person of interest in such investigations, media will have their own trial and will prove them as criminals involved. And I think India took a really good decision in recalling our High Commissioner and in response also dismissing some of these Canadian diplomats from here. Uh, it defies my understanding the strategy that Trudeau has continued to persist with, which is absolutely counterproductive.
Terry Belusky, one of the points which emerged